Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namadehi Gora Karuna Swalpaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Nama Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namadehi Gora Karuna Swalpaya Radha Krishna Prestaya
Radha Krishna Narayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Nirvana Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya
everybody
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Nirvana Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Haribol, Haribol. Everybody sing loud. Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Haribol, Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hey, hey,
Madana Mohana.
hey, hey,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
hey, hey.
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hey, hey,
Madana Mohana.
hey, hey,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
hey, hey.
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda
Everybody sing loud, everybody. Chaitanya dance, sing loud.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
So let's discuss something that's very simplistic, okay? Para maintindihan nyo maigi. Anong meaning ng ignorance? Define ignorance. Wala kang kaalaman, you know nothing, okay? You don't know anything, you're ignorant. Ignorant of the truth, okay? Ignorante ba? Okay? So yun yung topic na didiscuss ko ngayon. Kasi very, very clear na pag naintindihan natin ng kaalaman, then this ignorance will be gone. Then we will be with wisdom. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng wisdom? Okay? At ang pinag-uusapan natin, yung kaalaman na absolute. Ano yung absolute? Absolute. Eternal. Unchanging. Absolute. Okay? It will be true today, tomorrow, eternally. Okay? So at least may mga ano na kayo, may naintindihan na kayo sa mga ano. Then after all of this, during maybe May, June will start Bhagavad Gita class, because I'll tell you, we'll discuss why it's very important na maintindihan niyo yung Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita becomes your life. Okay? Why? Hindi niya. So, when a person, hindi ignorante siya kung sino siya, definitely mag-identify kay kayong katawan, di ba? So, ang mangyayari sa inyo, sa atin, dahil yung living entity, tayo na living by nature, life, nag-identify ka sa matter, lahat ng nakikita ng senses mo, automatic will be gliding or mamamagnet sa material world. Kasi it's about the material world. Ano yung material energy? Made out of what? Matter. Ano yun? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Mind. Intelligence and false ego. False ego means you identify with the body. Okay? Clear sa inyo yan? So pag nag-identify ka, you're in false ego, automatic, yung nakakita na kayo ng magnet. Okay? Automatic yung bakal didikit. Okay? Yung bakal pag may magnet, didikit. Okay? Pag yung living entity, tayo, ikaw, hindi mo alam kung sino ka, wala kang process, wala kang system na para maintindihan yung katotohanan, ang tendency, lahat na nakikita mo through the senses, yung diniscuss natin, kingdom nyo. Ano yung kingdom nyo? Yung katawan nyo. So, siyempre, lahat ng kingdom may pinto. Okay? Ano yung pinto na yon? Okay? So, automatic, kung nag-identify kayo sa kingdom na material kayo, automatic, ma-attract ka kaagad dito sa material world. Okay? Pero yun ang dahilan, kaya tayo nagsasuffer. Kasi hindi ka naman matter eh. Ayun din ang dahilan, kaya lagi tayong worried, anxiety. Kasi takot ka mamatay eh. Para sa iyo yung death, ang kinakatakutan mo sa death, wala kang patutunguhan at lahat ng hinakop mo rito, iiwan mo. Wala ka talagang solid foundation. Okay? Kaya yung false ego of trying to dominate matter, identifying with the body, automatic you'll be attracted to this material world. That is the place of illusion, maya, based upon the three modes of material nature. Ano yung experience nyo sa three modes of material nature? Pag goodness, anong experience nyo? Yahay, di ba? Yahay, kalma, bugnaw, okay? Walang problema. O kaya magandang lugar, na isang lugar kayo na very heavenly. Okay? Pag passionate naman, gusto nyo mag-enjoy sa senses. Okay? Pag ignorance naman, gusto nyo lagi matulog na lang. Makalimutan yung problema nyo. Tulog ng tulog, di ba? Alam nyo, the more you sleep, the more you like to sleep. Kaya lang, dahil arrangement na hindi ka pwedeng matulog na matulog kasi manghihi ka man. Di ba? Hindi ka man kwaknit na pwede kang nakabaliktad, manghihi. Pwede siguro kung gusto nyo. Kasi may mga estudyante kami rito, manghihigit sa ilang higdaan. Kaya di naman sila papuyon sa ubos, kaya anso kayo. Okay? So ang point ko, yung science means a system, okay? That you achieve a certain result, activities you engage in, experiment, okay? But this experiment, it's not an experiment. It is about the absolute truth. It's about wisdom between who you are and this material world, this body, the mind, the intelligence. So if you know this through wisdom that is given to us by Parampara, by God Himself, then we can make correct decision sa buhay natin. Okay? Hindi yung narinig mo lang sabi nito, sabi ni Kakang Pedro o kaya Kakang Nanay na ito ang nakagisnan natin anak, ito ang dapat natin sundin. At tanungin mo, ano ba talaga? Saan ba galing yan? O talaga bang yan na ang katotohanan? Anak, sundin mo na lang dahil matanda ako kaysa sayo. Pauwi ka pa lang, papunta ka pa lang, pauwi na ako. Di ba? Ganon sinasabi nila ba? Marami ka pang kakainin bigas bago mo malampasan yung katalinuhan ko o karunungan ko. Okay? At magagalit sa inyo. Sunod ka na lang. Lapurhong ka dayon. Okay? Okay? So yun ang point ko dito, kaya ko sinasabi yun, yung topic na to, para makita natin kung saan tayo. Kailangan alam mo yung ginagawa mo. Hindi pwedeng hindi mo alam. Kaya yun ang babasahin natin ngayon, pag-uusapan natin. So babasahin ko ngayon, so definitely yung topic na to coming from the spiritual master, coming from Srila Prabhupada, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup, who is the disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who is the disciple of His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami, who is the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta, and up to Lord Krsna. Okay? Yung wisdom, transcendental, absolute na coming down. So, that is already established from parampara. Ibig sabihin nun, yung the way na kayo mag-gain ng knowledge, maka-acquire ng knowledge, is through the descending method. Ano yung descending method na yon? It is coming from authority. Ano yung authority? Ano yung ibig sabihin ng authority? Bona fide. Bona fide. Authority. Halimbawa, authority na nakakaalam ng batas. Halimbawa, but authority who understand about the wisdom of our true transcendental nature. Ano yung transcendental nature natin? Yung tatlo, Sat Chit Ananda. Ano yun? Sat means eternality. Okay? You're eternal. This material world, although eternal, but the forms you see here are temporary and continually moving. Alam ba nyo na lahat na nakikita nyo rito made of atoms? Na yung body nyo made building blocks made out of atoms? Ano yung atom? Pinaka-basic. Pero mas may na-find out sila, mas may basic pa kaysa sa atom. Tawag nila quarks. Pero hindi na natin kailangan alamin yun dahil yung quarks, unsa man na quark. Basta ang point ko, may building blocks na nagme-make up sa body. Atoms, yung molecules na nagme-make up ng body nyo. Yung kinain nyo na through metabolism na nag-replace sa mga dead cells. Klaro yun sa inyo? Ibig sabihin, yung damit nyo noon na luma, wala na yun. Itong damit nyo ngayon, yung katawan nyo, after a while, mawawala rin yan. Bago na yung damit nyo. Yung mga ukay, labay na, di mong trapo. Okay? Pagkadugay, dauban. So, kaya ko sinasabi to, kasi dito natin makikita, why is it very hard for us to be in harmony with what is transcendental and what will give us happiness? Ba't ang hirap? Di ba? Di ba nyo napansin yun? Maliliit na pagsubok lang. Alam yung mga maliit na pagsubok lang? Hindi pagsubok yun. Yung mga nangyayari sa kapaligiran, sa influence ng modes. Halimbawa, napag-usapan natin kagabi, di ba bago kayo dumating dito sa Madana, lalo na yung mga nasa katawan ng boys, o kaya nasa katawan ng girls, okay? Pagdating nyo rito, dagan man pala mga gwapa diri na dalagang bukid na naadiri sa bundok, okay? At dahil akala nyo dalagang bukid, pero hindi nyo alam, teki pala. Lagi nasa internet, okay? Alam nila yung ML, alam nila lahat, okay? Pero paglabas nila, akala nyo, mga bugo sila. Pero dili ba tinuod? Dahil kaya nila kayo manipulate. Okay? Kaya kanila i-manipulate. Muduol-duol sa inyo para pagsingon nyo, banguman masyadong, unsan eh? Okay? Murag, mahimo ba mo murag iro ba? Kaya muduol man sa inyo. Di ba? Makalimutan na nyo yung purpose ba't kayo nandito. Okay? Dapat pala mag-aral kayo dahil may test na na-disturb ngayon yung isipan nyo. Di ba? Kasi ganun yung material world. Itong body na to, automatic, will be gliding, will be attracted to the material energy. Kasi matter for matter. Pero yung life na nag-identify sa matter, nag-identify ka sa matter, ikaw yung katawan, kaya paghinga mo, pagtingin mo sa mata mo, uy, dili maana magsinina ang mga tao sa amo. Okay? Okay? So, ma-disturb kayo ngayon. Ang purpose nyo para mag-isip, iba na yung nasa meditation nyo, iba na yung focus nyo, okay? Kasi nga, condition tayo to think we're the body. Kaya ang first hurdle natin is to understand you're not the body. Kaya lagi natin pinag-usapan spirit, soul. And the next hurdle is to realize, para bang uhaw ka, kailangan mong tubig para ma-quench yung thirst mo. Nakakita ka ng tubig, baso, pero hindi pwede titignan mo lang. Kailangan kunin mo yung tubig, inumin mo para ma-alibyo yung kauhawan mo. So you must experience this relief from your thirst, but that your thirst will be quenched, masatisfied through drinking that water. Yung realization, you're not the body, it comes with activities that are connected with spiritual activities. It's about purificatory activities. Okay? So ngayon, matagal man tayo na condition sa material world since time immemorial. Matagal ka ba? Na-condition ka na ba? Ibig sabihin, may kalyo ka na ba? Alam niyo yung kalyo? Okay? Ang kalyo hindi lang sa kamay, kuminsan sa mukha din. Di ba? Okay? So, naging na tayo? Naging kalus ba? Kalus na tayo dahil nag-identify na tayo sa senses natin at yung senses natin will be driven by the mind, yung desire. Makikita nyo yan eh. Pero pag hindi nyo na-realize you're not the body, you go for it. Automatic, parang magnet. Pilit da yun. Okay? Kaya ma-disturb ka. Kasi yung spirit soul, once ma-connect ka with matter, automatically you'll experience what? Fear. You'll experience fear. You'll experience emptiness, loneliness, insecurity. Kasi you're connected with something that's temporary and continually changing. Molecules and atoms. Okay? Kaya kung yayakapin mo yun, ang yung mayakap katawan, yung katawan mo, it's also moving eh. Kasi all the molecules and atoms will be transformed into different forms. Yun yung science ng transformation of energy. That there's a certain amount of material energy here undergoing changes into different forms. Halimbawa, yung kahoy na yan, dati puno, kahoy. Kung tatanggalin ko yan, susunugin ko, magiging abo. Okay? May iba-ibang form. Parang dati, nasa katawan ngayon ng young girl, di ba? Hawak mo, Barbie doll. Okay? O kaya nung baby, maliit ka pa, maliit pa yung katawan mo, dala-dala mo, baby roll, di ba? At saka gatas, o kaya meron kang teddy bear. Pero ngayon, hindi ka na mayayakap ng teddy bear. Diba? Pero meron din mga mayakap ng mga teddy bear, malalaki, binibili nila dyan. So ngayon, ang tanong dito, anong yakap mo? Ano yung niyayakap mo? So when you identify with this body, automatic, you will be embracing material nature. Kasi natural eh. Matter for matter. Ma-attract talaga dun. Ngayon, ang reason kaya ka nagsasuffer tayo, kasi we have this body. And we identify with the body which is the cause of suffering. Kasi ano ang experience sa body? O hindi lang yung nangangamoy yung katawan, di ba? Di ba? Ano yung mga experience nyo na very embarrassing? Ba't kayo nagtutoothbrush? Kasi very embarrassing, di ba? Pag sasabihin, bakit kayo naggagamit ng deodorant? Di ba? Kasi habang lumalakad kayo, mga tao hindi kagaya nung nangyari sa inyo, di ba? Lalapit sa inyo, ang dami-daming klaseng pabango na ikaw, malipong naman ko sa pabango, pero di man ko makaikyas. Kaya pilit na lang ko, di ba? Paano ka dumikit? Through sense perception. Narinig mo yung boses niya na napakaganda kuno, okay? Kesha, can you teach me? I don't know how to do this. Ikaw naman, a knight in a gallant armor. Okay? Macho. Okay? I'll take care of you. I'll teach you. Okay? Hindi mo alam, dumikit ka na. Okay? So, mangyayari, kung wala kang realization about your true identity, you will be always fighting material energy, matter, and nag-identify ka sa matter. Kaya ang hirap. Sige ka, pikit mo mata mo. Halimbawa, si Anantadas, pinikit niya yung mata niya, pero nakadikit naman yung mukha ni nasa yung ngiti niya, yung mga ngipin niya na may star-star pa, saka mas hindi naman kailangan ng brace, diretso yung ngipin. May mga brace, di ba? Saka pag ngiti talagang helpless without you. Di ba? So, doon yung makikita how material nature you get sucked in. Alam niyo yung called baby tar? Mama, yung baby tar, yung tar baby, pag hinawa ka mo, didikit ka eh. Okay? Kaya the more you're engrossed, the more you're in bodily identification, nakadikit ka sa material world. Kaya huwag ka na mag-expect na you're free. Okay? Kaya pag nandiyan ka, mabigla ka. You're always agitated. Kasi the mind will always be agitated. Nasa gitna ka kasi, marginal ka ba? Alam mo, hindi dapat to. Kasi alam mo, narinig mo na, hindi to dapat. Pero hindi dapat, para yung mga nagsisigarilyo, alam yung nagsisigarilyo? Gisultihan ko sa doktor, hindi na dapat ako magsigarilyo. Hindi na dapat ako magsigarilyo, pero yung kamay ba? Hindi na dapat sabay kuha ng posporo, hindi. Okay? Alam mo, hindi dapat. Kasi nakikita mo. Pero, bakit ang hirap? Di ba? Kasi yung meditation natin, it's contaminated. It's more meditation upon this world. About dominion, about control. Hindi ba nyo nakikita? Somebody comes to you. Sobrang, ang daming pabango, nakangiti, tapos biglang didikit sa inyo. What does she want to do to you? She wants to get you. She wants to control you. Okay? To control you for what? Kasi si Seeing, siguro, buutan ni si Kesha ba? Buutan kain ng bataa ba? Hindi ni pareho sa akong boyfriend na sige na lang sing hanggang ko away mi pirmi. Okay? Kaya sige man naka-smile parote. So, kung pirmi ko kauban niya, sige na lang ko smile. Di ba? Nakita niya? Nakita niya, okay? Tapos kayo naman, nakita kayo, mga girls naman, nakita kayo ng mga boys dyan, nag-work. Sabay, tatanungin sa inyo, Day, ansay cellphone number ni mo gang? Diba? Hindi nyo nakikita, everybody wants to get something. Everyone wants to get, parang alam yung tar baby, you get stuck ba? Okay? Now, kaya ko sinasabi to, para makita natin yung situation natin, how we can become free. Okay? So, nilay dahil yung premise na, okay? Kasi, narinig man natin yung katotohanan from scriptures, saintly person, and authorities. At pinag-usapan na natin na matututo lang tayong mahalin ang Panginoong puong may kapal sa isang individual na may relasyon sa Diyos ng taimtim ng pagmamahal. Okay? So, binasa natin sa scripture, sa Upanishad, authority sa Upanishad. Sabi doon, everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is owned and controlled by God. Knowing well to whom they belong, one should only use the quota that is allotted to him. Ibig sabihin, material or spiritual, it belongs to God. You come here with nothing, you're gonna live with nothing. Okay? You cannot renounce everything. Di ba maraming nagsasabi, binitiwan ko yung yaman ko, binigay ko, inabuloy ko sa pastor namin, binigay ko sa Diyos. Ang katunayan, wala ka naman binigay dahil hindi naman sa'yo yun eh. Temporary na sa possession mo. Even yung katawan mo, temporary na sa possession nyo. So ngayon ang tanong, paano nyo gagawin na makokonekta tayo sa transcendental na relasyon sa Diyos? Yun yung process. Okay? Sabi ni Lord Krsna sa Bhagavad Gita, Transcendental Knowledge, text 35:261. And when you have thus learned the truth, kasi pinag-usapan natin we receive the knowledge coming from the spiritual master who is a representative of Lord Krishna, okay? When you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are part of me, and they are in me and are mine. So we can understand now that Lord Krishna, material nature, it belongs to Him. We belong to God. We are all divine, loving servant of God. Okay? So sabi ni Lord Krishna kay Arjuna, ito, even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Okay? Bakit tayo hindi natin makita ang sarili natin? Hindi tayo konektado sa mundo ng pagmamahal sa Diyos because of our sinful activities. Previously, kaya ngayon natitikman natin yung bunga ng tinanim natin, mga sinful activities. At meron din tayong tinanim pa na magbubunga pa na hindi pa dumarating. Diba? Mas kuyaw, di ba? Dugay na bayata, naadiri lang. So anytime, puputok yun. Puputok yun. Okay, magkaroon ka ng pigsa, di ba? Sa baba. So, ang point ko rito, sinasabi sa atin na even though we're so sinful, we're so covered, but if we have this wisdom and transcendental knowledge, especially the purificatory process of practice of devotional service, because devotional service in practice is about a connection, activities of relating to the Supreme Person. And how do we relate? It is about devotion, about love. So we're given the 9 process of devotional service. It begins with hearing the holy names of the Lord, the glories of the Lord. It begins with chanting the holy names of the Lord, the glories of the Lord, surrendering our life to Lord Krishna, offering to Lord Krishna, bowing down to the deity, taking care of the deity, making friends with the devotee, meditating upon the transcendental world in loving relationship with the Supreme Person, and having a relationship with a confidential loving servant of the Supreme Lord. So, spiritual activities yun. Okay? In practice. So, ang point na ginagawa natin tong chanting 9 process and devotional service is to live a life of someone who should be having this loving devotion to the Supreme Person while you are in this body, habang nasa katawan kayo. Because time will come, you will leave the body. Iwan nyo yung katawan eh. Okay? At the time you leave the body, you can leave the body as a devotee of God, who is completely surrendered to God. Kasi you have no other recourse. You're leaving. You're leaving your family, you're leaving your wealth, you're leaving the land, everything. You're leaving the sound, you're leaving everything that you see with your eyes. You're leaving. Iwan mo. Iwan mo yung domain mo, okay? But if you live a life that is transcendental in practice, following the instruction of the spiritual master, who is a confidential loving servant of God, who's teaching us how to love God, then that practice at the time and engagement in actuality, because chanting is devotional service, then when time comes, you're prepared to leave this world. Okay? But if you're not prepared, what will happen? You'll be in confusion. Mahirap. Wala kang patutunguhan. Kasi ang meditation mo ay ang mundo na to. Is it clear sa inyo? Is it clear, Jagadisha Dasi? Okay. As the blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes or reaction to material activities. So the karma or good and bad action that we engage in now, we will not be experiencing the resultant of that. When we follow the instruction of the spiritual master and guided by him and engage in yoga maya or devotional service under the energy of Radha and Krishna. Okay? Kaya diniscuss natin, very important, yung spiritual master is someone who himself followed the instruction of Lord Krishna. He himself, he put his life in the hands of the representative of God and follow the instruction of someone who's loving God. Because that is the will of God. Yun ang will ng God eh. That you must have a bona fide spiritual master. You must become a friend of His eternal friend, the spiritual master, who is a resident of the spiritual world, who has unalloyed devotional service to Lord Krishna. So kung nalagay kayo sa sitwasyon na may mga teacher, you don't just give your life or that person becomes the foundation of your life. Okay? They can be managers, they can be mentors, but you only give your life to the representative of God, to the bona fide spiritual master. Because that person is doing the will of God, who is pleasing to God. Is it clear? Is it clear? Because the potency of the bona fide spiritual master, he's able to enthuse us, he's able to motivate us, not by force, give us wisdom, and that wisdom purifies us. Activities na ginagawa natin, na process na nasa scripture. Every activities that is being taught by Parampara is very clear. Clear. Walang doubt. So pag may bona fide spiritual master ka, wala kang doubt. Because at the time you accept a bona fide spiritual master, even though you're not initiated, and when Krishna gives you, this person is my representative, and you follow faithfully his instruction. Ano instruction ng spiritual master sa atin? Chant the holy names. Because the holy names is our connection with his love and Krishna's love. And that becomes our life while we are in this world. Meaning, when time comes, we leave this world, we can live as a devotee. And what is a devotee, man? Then, it is not a member of the group. It is someone who's completely dependent upon God. And how did that person how did that person become dependent upon God? Because of the wisdom of the absolute eternal wisdom that is purifying based upon service in harmony with God's will. And it begins with accepting a bona fide spiritual master. So someone who has a bona fide spiritual master, everything becomes clear. So when you hear the truth from the seer of the truth, then you can see the truth. He sees the truth, not with his eyes, but with wisdom that is absolute. And what is absolute? Satchit Ananda, your eternality and transcendental wisdom about your relationship with God and activities that you should engage in, and you experience Ananda, transcendental bliss. So when you're in that state, you're not depressed, you're not disturbed by this moving world. Because your attraction is not upon this body anymore, but you use this body in connection with your service to God and offering to God. So your attraction now is not gliding towards this material world. Kaya, everything in this material world will continue to change, but you don't change the spirit soul. And your relationship, which is established, don't change. Is it clear? So that's why it's very important to be serious and sincere. Because the test will come when you enter that door. Okay? So now, be prepared for the test. So when you're prepared with the test, then you're exempted. Tindihan niyo? That even now, you're free. Because you experience connection with God's will, God's happiness. His happiness that you are happy in harmony with doing His will. Okay? Yun yung process ng Bhakti Yoga. Wala nang iba. It's not about joining. It's about sustainable, transcendental happiness, ananda, connected with doing the will of God. So doon yung makikita, meron na kayong timbangan ngayon. Alam yung timbangan? Kung nagme-make kayo, alam yung temperature na lang. Temperature. Meron doon hindi ba? Yung temperature, anong tawag doon? Thermometer. Okay? May thermometer, pag nilagay mo, dati kasi thermometer, ngayon, high-tech na, gagano lang sa ulo mo, di ba? O kaya hahapit ka, lalabas na. Dati kasi nilalagay sa kilikili. Okay? Mercury. Yung iba nilalagay sa bibig. Okay? Delikado kasi yung mercury, pwede ka mamatay pag nag-break. lason yun eh. So ginawa nila na hindi na may safety ano sila na ginawa na hindi na kailangan ganon. Meron man tayo dyan yung ganon. Okay? So ang point ko rito, ikaw yung makaka-check if you're making progress. But if you are in false bodily identification, even though after listening to the truth about this wisdom, the person still cannot understand. Why is that? Because he did not follow the instruction of Lord Krishna, the instruction of the spiritual master. So the spiritual master guides us. He plants the seed of love in our heart. Okay? So it's up to us to nurture it. Tayo dapat mag-alaga. Kagaya yung ginawa nyo doon. Di ba? Nagtanim kayong pechay na payatot. Okay? Okay? Kayo ang mag-aalaga sa tanim. Okay? Di ba? Tumumba yung ano nyo, yung trellis. Kung tumumba yun, siyempre, sa lupa, maraming snail. Yung bunga ng pipino nyo, kakainin ng snail. So, gawa kayo ng ganun ulit. Alisin lahat yung snail. So, nasa atin, kuya, may kasabihan, di ba? Nasa Diyos ang awa, nasa tao ang gawa. So, it's you who will make decision. But the decision now is a relationship with God. Okay? So, you don't need to put a pace or orchestrate something na ipakita externally. Dapat you must be very sincere and honest. It's about your life. God knows you were lost. He knows already about that. He knows how hard it is for us to do His will. He knows that. Okay? That's why He has unconditional. Walang condition yung pagmamahal niya sa atin. He's just simply there waiting. Alam niya kung gaano kahirap. So hindi mo kailangan magpakita na itong ginagawa mo, orchestrate mo, gawa ka ng scene na, look, I'm a great devotee, No. That's why we must be chanting, engaging in activities in humbleness. Kasi He knows already. Even though you're a demon or you're a saint, He loves you. No problem about that. His love is there. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin, how to establish this pure, unconditional love to the Supreme Person. That we can relate to Him closely. Kasi it's a close relationship. Confidential. Kaya, to be a confidential friend of Lord Krishna, then you must have someone who is a confidential friend of Lord Krishna. Yeah? Halimbawa, sinasabi ko sa inyo, di ba, there are girls here, nasa teacher na sa katawang babae, they have their own cliques. Alam niyo yung own cliques nila? They call each one with different names, na hindi niyo alam. They have lingo or language na sila lang nakakaalam 3 o kaya silang 5 lang na hindi ka makapasok basa-basa because they're confidential friend. Di ba? Meron silang nire-reveal lang nila yung mind nila sa someone na confidential, yung matatrust nila na hindi sasabihin kay Petra na wag sasabihin dahil sinabi ko sa iyo, wag mo sasabihin. Di ba? They are confident that this person will not betray them. This person will be trustworthy. Kuno. Okay? So, yun yung situation natin. To be a confidential, loving servant of the Supreme Person, we must learn that science from someone who is in that stage. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung person na nasa state na ngayon, dinescribe natin, walang material consideration. He's not an enjoyer of the senses. He's not attached to this world. He does not hate or love anyone. He's simply in a world of loving relationship with the Supreme Person. Transcendental. There's no likes or dislikes. He sees a stone, he sees stone, gold, and waste as the same, made of matter. So when you come to realize you're not the body, you're able to see the spirit soul. And when you make progress, you're able to see the mind. You're able to see the mind and the desire in the mind. And then you can see your intelligence if it's contaminated. And if it's contaminated, whatever experience you experience with the senses, your intelligence will be gliding to pursue, to try to fulfill the desire according to what you like, according to your conditioning. Intindihan niya? Is it clear? So makita nyo dapat, importante rito, awareness. Ano ibig sabihin ng awareness? Aware ba? Pag sinabi kong, Chaitanya Das, okay, wake up. Dapat aware siya ba? Aware siya sa nangyayari, aware ka sa kapaligiran. So when you become so sensitive, you become aware of the self, you, and you're able to hear the Lord within the heart. And you're able to listen to Lord Krishna from the Lord within the heart. And be able to, when you apply the process, Krishna will give you vision who is his representative. Only God can tell you who is his representative, who is his loving servant. Okay? It's not appointed, it's not hereditary. It means when you are sincere and really wanting to serve God, God will show you. So Krishna tells us, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. If you want Krishna, the Supreme Person, you want to love Him as your life, your whole, everything that you do, it's simply doing His will, then Krishna allows you to be in that state. Okay? But if you want to worship the demigods, to go to the heavenly planet, then Krishna awards you that. Whatever you want. Okay? As the blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, so Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reaction of material activities. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng simple activities natin will not be engulfing you. Kasi you become free. Whatever activities you do, either with your body, it's now a karma, no karma, under the guidance of Krishna. Why? Because you're engaged in devotional service. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you do with your body, it's an offering in devotion to God. No karma. And what is the effect of that? It burns all the sinful activities that we have done, and now we should be experiencing that. It will all be burned, mawala. Then you become a pure loving servant of God, not touched by this material world. How is that? When you are in this world both of transcendental wisdom, that even though how sinful we are, we can cross this ocean because it's Krishna's promise that He will protect us. Okay? Intindihan niyo? So it's clear sa inyo? So dapat makita natin yung material desire, yung mind, and then we can make a decision. Will I follow the dictates of the mind? Will I follow the desire in the mind? Is it pleasing to Krishna? Will I use my intelligence, which is contaminated, or I should purify my intelligence and be guided by the wisdom that is pure and transcendental, not touched by the three modes of material nature? So nasa inyo. So ibig sabihin nun, how you pass the test, it will be how you apply the process. Okay? Pag may sakit ka, binigyan ka ng, alam mo, may sakit ka. Tapos pumunta ka sa doktor, bibigyan ka medication para gumaling. Pag hindi mo tinake yung medication, hindi ka gagaling. Kailan sundin mo kung ano yung medication. Okay? Sinabi, take this medication in 1 week, 3 times a day. Nisip mo, mahal man kayo, di lang. Okay? Pabukal na lang ko dahon sa bayabas. Okay? Okay. Ano na lang ko, mga mistake na healing. Okay? Mistake healing. Punta ko sa alam yung nag-heal na mistake healing? Ha? Oh, di ba? Talikuran ka, lagyan ka ng laway sa ulo. Tapos dasalan ka. Tapos, ang sasabihin sa'yo, uy, wa man ko naayo. Wa ka man kasi pagtuo. Kulang yung pagtuo, kaya wa ka naayo. Okay? Ito yung pinaka-effect. Alam mo yung ibig sabihin ng faithful? Faithful. Okay? One-pointed ba? Very faithful. Okay? Ibig sabihin yung faith mo, yung heart mo, yung life mo. Faithful ka ba? You're faithful to your wife. You're faithful to your friend. You're trustworthy. May faithful ba? Okay? Yung pagtuo mo ba? Yung puso mo, faithful. Okay? A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So when you are with wisdom and you have this faith in Scripture, hindi masisino-sino, with faith, with the instructing spiritual master coming from God, Parampara, and your spiritual master, then you experience spiritual peace. Kasi you're connected with the Supreme Person by heart, by meditation. Kaya mas nakakagulo dyan. Maalis man yung katawan mo, maputol man yung kamay mo lahat, although ma-experience mo yung pain, pero fix ka ba? You're fixed because of your heart. Where your heart is, that's where your mind will go. Kaya, very important ng practice. Kaya nangyari, nahirapan kayo, kasi nakita nyo si Petra, si Sandra dyan, yung mind nyo, disturbed. Okay? Kasi yung heart nyo, yung heart natin, it's not really sheltered in doing the will of God. But when you are completely absorbed in offering your life to God and humbly praying to God, please protect me, to do your will, to be close to you, then the mind will just follow. Okay? Hindi importante yung kapaligiran. Nakikita mo for what it is. Hindi ka na mabudol-budol ba? Kasi you're with wisdom. Okay? Hindi ba nyo napansin? Bakit ba kailangan, ano bang tinatago ng lahat, di ba? Kasi, why? Ikaw, bakit kayo naglalagay ng pulbo sa mukha nyo, okay? Nagtututbrush. Para tanggapin kayo, di ba? Tanggapin kayo ng kaibigan nyo, di ba? Tanggapin kayo. Ibig sabihin, kasi na-condition tayo, nagagawa tayo ng mga bagay-bagay para tanggapin, para magkaroon tayo ng kaaya-ayang, uy, kaibigan ko siya, minamahal niya ako, o kaya magaling kang tao, yung gano'n. You don't need that. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. So yung faith mo talaga dapat fix. And that fixedness can only be achieved with wisdom. And it begins with the basic understanding your eternality, the wisdom about who you are and the transcendental world of Krishna, and engaging in practice of devotional service, eternal activities, and then you experience ananda or happiness. Okay? So ito yung consciousness na ma-achieve natin. And this consciousness, we can see it through the lives of Prahlad Maharaj. Remember Prahlad Maharaj? Papatayin siya ng papa niya na demon, di ba? Pero hindi naman siya galit. Maliit na bata lang, maliit pa kay ano. Sino? Jamuna Das, okay? Maliit pa sa kanya. Bata, ang katawan. Yung mind natin, very restless yan. Yung mind, kasi hindi naman real yung mind eh. Kaya ka may katawan because of the mind. Okay? Kung ano yung mold ng mind, yun ang katawan lalabas. Okay? Either 10 yung paa mo o 2 yung paa mo. Kung ano yung nasa isip nyo. Sino ba yung naglalaro ng damang dito araw-araw? Pag panahon ng ano? Okay? Ilan ang paa ng damang? Okay? So, tanawin nyo ba? Kinindamang isog ni kay taas ang tiil, di ba? Ha? Binibiro ko lang. Ito yung perfection na para makita natin. Remember Haridas Thakur? Si Haridas Thakur, papatayin siya ng mga demon. So ginawa sa kanya, tinali siya, kinadena, pinalo siya ng yantok, 21 marketplace. Pinapalo siya. Yung pumapalo sa kanya, nagdudugo na yung kamay, pero hindi siya naapektuhan. Okay? Tapos, nabigla huminto sila, umiiyak, so nahinto si Haridas. Si Haridas Thakur, siya yung namacharya. Sabi niya, why are you crying, my friend? Why are you in anxiety? Sabi nung pumapalo sa kanya, we're afraid, we're anxious, because if we cannot kill you, then we will be killed. Yun ang instruction sa kanila eh. Pag hindi nyo napatay si Haridas Thakur, then patay kayo. Okay? That's all. So went siya into trance. He can control his body movements eh. Trance. Ganun yung yogi. He can control the life air. Kaya may mga yogi who practice Kundalini Yoga nasa ilalim ng tubig. Kaya nila i-control yung hininga nila. Do you know, sa scripture nakalagay, may certain hininga lang kayo sa mundo na to. Parang may 1 billion ka na. Okay. Jogging ka ng jogging. Okay? So, jogging ka ng jogging, ano na pala? 1 billion lang yung hininga mo. 999 million na lang. Isa na lang pala yung naiiwan na, tigbak ka na. Okay? Ikaw nakakaintindi, okay? So, he went into trance, okay? Ano yung consciousness na yun? So, makikita natin that, bakit? Do you know that the body is dependent upon you? Alam ba niyo yan? Na pag umalis ka sa katawan, ang mangyari sa body mo? It will break down. But, do you put importance on yourself o sa body mo lang? Di ba? The whole day, what do you do? Ano yung pinaka-importante? Yung katawan, di ba? Yung senses. Kasi doon natin hinahanap yung kaligayahan natin eh. Ha? Pero pag umalis ka sa katawan, yung katawan na yan, ano mangyari? So, ibig sabihin, nakadepend yung katawan sa'yo. Pag umalis ka, magbe-breakdown yan. Okay, may symptoms. When life leaves the body, it will break down into simpler form. Yung body na ngayon, there's so much heat because of it's thermodynamically unstable. Thermodynamics is about heat. Kaya, di ba, mainit. Pag umalis yung person sa katawan, pag yakap mo sa katawan na tawag nila stiff, dead. Ano ang experience mo? Malamig na bangkay. Di ba? Malamig na bangkay. Dahil wala na yung person. Kaya sa science, thermodynamically unstable state ang body kasi there's so much interaction ng cells, lahat. Ng DNA, there's heat. Kaya mainit eh. Alam mo? Mainit yung katawan. But when you leave the body, it will break down into simple form. Naintindihan niyo yan? Okay. Pero alam niyo, yung mind, madali makalimot dahil si Maya very strong. Kasi Kali Yuga ngayon, ang remembrance natin, maliit na maliit lang. So ito yung babasahin ko. Kaya ako nagbigay sa inyo ng halimbawa ng transcendental ito. The stage of perfection is called trance. Okay, trance. You're in meditation. You, the person, you're very aware of your relationship with God. In your relationship with God, okay? Or samadhi. When one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by the practice of yoga. When the mind, the whole body, 100%, you're simply engaged in pure loving devotional service, then you're experience transcendental experience. Okay? This is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and relish and rejoice in the self. Okay? So when you are aware of your true identity, you see with clarity, okay? The self, you. And your happiness is connected with life, your relationship with God. Kung material contaminated ka pa, yung experience mo is through mental. You follow the dictates of the mind, okay? In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself to transcendental senses. So when the person is 100% engaged in the service of God, tayo, you use everything in your possession in the service of God, you experience transcendental, boundless happiness. There's no fear because you have refuge. You're connected with the source of happiness. with security. You have Krishna. Okay? You have the Supreme Person, the cause of all causes, who loves you eternally. Established, thus one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This is in actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So remember Bali Maharaj? Remember Bali Maharaj? Sabi ng spiritual master ng demon si Sukracharya. Kasi Lord Krishna came, okay? As a dwarf Brahmana, okay? Sabi niya, siyempre Brahmana, nag-offer si King Maharaj Bali ng services. Sabi niya, what can I offer you? Ang sabi, I just want 3 steps of your land. 3 tapak lang sa lupa mo. Sabi niya, why very small? Sabi ni Bali Maharaj, I can give you. I'm the controller and owner of the 3 worlds. Ibig sabihin, lower planetary system, middle planetary system. He controls the universe. He's the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. He's very powerful. Sabi ng spiritual master niya si Sukracharya, ingat ka doon. Okay? Watch out. The person in front of you is the Supreme Person. He's gonna take everything away from you. Okay? But because he is a pure loving servant of God, a spiritual master, who has a relationship with God, who is truthful, who is simply 100% pleasing to God, doing the will of God. When Lord Vamana, who appears there as a Brahmana, he's Krishna, okay? And he wants to protect Bali Maharaj. Ang sabi ni Bali Maharaj, okay, I'll give you 3 steps of the land. Ang sabi ng spiritual man, then you're a fool because everything will be taken away from you. But Bali Maharaj is truthful. Ibig sabihin, yung faith niya, yung truthfulness niya is simply 100% doing what is pleasing to God. Sabi niya, anyway, all the things that I have, sooner or later, it will be taken away from me. And I am happy now because it's taken away naturally by Krishna. Okay? If I give up everything, then what's the loss? Anyway, mawawala rin naman lahat. Iwan nyo lahat eh. So in this case, he's the person who controls the universe. Okay? So what the 3 steps? Okay, first step, middle planetary system. Second step, higher planetary system. Sabi ni Vamanadev, kasi naging giant eh. He stepped over the 3 planetary system because Krishna can do anything. He expanded. That small Brahmana, a young boy, became so big that his footstep, he was able to step upon the middle planetary system. Ito, middle earth. Ibig sabihin, duality. Dito, may gabi, may araw. Okay? May mahirap, may mayaman. Okay? May maganda, may hindi maganda. Okay? Lahat duality ba? Lahat duality. Ibig sabihin ng duality, laging kung halimbawa, kahon may laman, isa walang laman. Okay? Duality ba? Duality. Mainit, malamig. Gabi, araw. Liwanag, kadiliman. Duality lahat. Okay? Ito middle planetary system. Yung higher, heavenly planet. Pagtapak niya sa heavenly planet, ng paa niya, laki na, hindi mo na makita. Sabi ni Lord Krishna, ni Lord Brahmana, where will I put the 3 steps? Ang sabi ni Bali Maharaj, you can put it on my head, my Lord. So, dun tumakap si Lord Krishna. So to enter that world, complete surrender to Lord Krishna, complete protection, that is the process we are engaging in. So that's why it's very important to do the will of God. It begins with accepting a bona fide spiritual master. Kaya yung sinasabi ko, following parampara. Is it clear sa inyo? Okay. So ibig sabihin, lahat ng ginagawa nyo, may patutunguhan. Because you will able to realize the self. You, ma-realize yourself. And you'll be experiencing happiness of the self when you're completely surrendered in doing the will of God. And then you experience transcendental happiness. That you come to the point of there's nothing more to be gained. Okay? You're not disturbed in the face of calamity and everything. Halimbawa, Halimbawa, I'll give you one example na lang. Halimbawa, di ba talaga tayo, lagi tayo nasa mirror. Mirror na, who's the most beautiful, handsomest of all? Inisip mo, me. Okay? For example, biglang nagkasunog, nasunog half ng mukha mo. Okay? Pag nasunog yung half ng mukha mo, yung lahat ng veins lalabas eh. At pag gumaling, lahat nakadikit. Ibig sabihin yun, sunog yung kalate. Okay? But because you realize you're not the body, you don't need to be loved. You don't need to be loved by all these people who are not the supreme person. And because you're fixed in your understanding, you're not in anxiety because you're not the body. Okay? Because of your karma, nasunog yung mukha mo, but hindi yun ang basis para makakita ka ng happiness, mahalin ka. Okay? Alam niyo sa Vietnam, during the war, pagpunta nila sa gera, pagbalik nila, wala na silang paa, wala nang kamay, bulag na. Okay? But when you're with wisdom, you know this body is like a dress. You're continually changing it. And then not only that, it satisfies you, me, when we're connected with the Supreme Person. That's why the prime benediction in this Kali Yuga is the teachings coming from Parampara. And it's centered around the glorification of God's eternal pastime that will purify us from our sinful activities. Kaya the more you listen, the more you chant, the more you like to chant. You're making progress. You're not becoming detached from this word. Para yung sinasabi, alam niyo yung description ni Srila Prabhupada, yung itlog ba? Di ba, nasa loob? Di ba, alimbawa, may manok, may itlog, hindi yung bugok na itlog yung kinakain dyan na binibenta, yung talagang tunay na itlog, hindi yung regla lang na manok. Okay? Dahil sa feeds, nakakaitlog. Okay? Native na manok, nakaitlog. Okay? May manok sa loob, di ba? So, habang dahan-dahan, lumalaki yung manok, ano nangyayari sa shell? Nagka-crack, di ba? Hanggang makalabas yung manok. Di ba? Nakakita na kayo ng caterpillar. Di ba? Pag nag-spin yung caterpillar ng ng mulberry, usually yung silk, mulberry, yun. So, ano yung cocoon? Pag nakita mo yung cocoon, sarado, di ba? Then, pagtagal na, numinipis yun dahil may lalabas na butterfly, di ba? Hindi aswang, butterfly. Okay? So, ganon. The more you chant, it's like dahan-dahan nawawala yung covering natin sa material world. We become purified from our sinful reaction, activities, lahat. Then you see now with clarity. Okay? Kaya din pinakita ko sa inyo yung form na material body, tatanong ko, bakit may tubig, may lupa, yung spirit soul nandun, yung Paramatma nandun. Okay? So you're able to see the person. When you have heard the truth from someone who's the seer of the truth, then you become seer of the truth. Diba? Seer of the truth. Ano yung truth? Absolute truth, alam na nyo. About your wisdom, about your eternality, your transcendental nature, and your relationship with God, and activities in relationship with God. Not touched by this material world, then you experience happiness, fulfillment of the heart. You, the person. Okay, is it clear? Haribol namaste. May question kayo? Wala. Okay, pakiurang.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthanyate. Haribol, Chaitanya da sing loud.
Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthanyate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Guru Krishna,
Madana Mohana, Siddhaswarupananda,